Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm here to show you the basics of how to put together a triple pop-up cube card. And for this one I've used the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set and In Good Taste designer paper. So let's set this aside and get started. We're going to start by using the small flower here in Celebrate Sunflowers. And I've got a piece of Whisper White and my basic gray ink, and I'm just going to tap on ink, and we're going to stamp 5 of these. And then I need a pair of these double leaves. We're just going to do all our stamping here at one time. And then let's put the basic gray out of the way. And then for the sentiment on our card, we're going to use this set Happiest of Birthdays. And use this stamp in Calypso Coral, and same thing, I just want to tap ink on all over. Okay, that looks nice and inked up. Okay, so now it's time to do some coloring. And for that coloring, we're going to use our Stampin' Blends. I've got Mango Melody, Calypso Coral, Old Olive, and a light Just Jade to start with. So let's start with our flower petals, and I'm going to start with the darker Mango Melody down here at the bottom of our petals, and then blend it out with the light. And you're just going to come back in and shade some of these. I'm feeling my Mango Melody, the dark, and I think it might be time to order a new marker. It's a little on the drier side. So that's the story here. I'm going to color 2 of the flowers with the Mango Melody and 3 with Calypso Coral, and then we'll come back and look at the leaves. Now we'll color the leaves with our light and dark Old Olive and the light Just Jade. Now I'm going to start by adding the light Old Olive in here at the base, and then I'm coming right over it with the dark Old Olive. And the reason that I'm doing that is I want a little extra blend, so I want my paper wetter, as it were, and then I'm putting in that Just Jade and coming over the whole thing with my light Old Olive. So let's do that one more time, and then I'll step back and color all of these and do my die cutting and be back. So light Old Olive, then the dark Old Olive over that, and then the light Just Jade. Oh, I forgot there's still one more part we'll have to color. So let me color the leaves, and then we'll come back and work on the flower centers. Okay, so there's that. Hang on a moment and I'll be back. And for our flower centers, I'm going to dot in some of the dark soft suede using the bullet tip. And I don't like to completely cover all of the white spots because I think it is more effective to leave some white. And then I've got my dark mango melody that I'm going to dot in here as well. And I am going to just full on color that. And then come back and add a few more dots of the dark soft suede. And you get kind of the idea of a black-eyed Susan or a sunflower, but without losing all of your detail at the center of this card. So I'm going to repeat that here and then add Calypso Coral to the center of these. Next, we're going to work on the pop-up card base, and I've got my paper trimmer, and let's see if we can situate this in here so that you'll see everything. Now, cutting guide and all the measurements will be on a downloadable PDF on my blog, because it's much easier than to download that than for me to make sure that I'm telling you all of the measurements as I go along. So we're going to put this strip in at 2 5/8 and 5 1/4 and 7 7/8 and 10 1/2. And then I'm going to score the other two pieces, and I'll be back and we'll start assembling. Okay, so all of the scoring is the same on each of these pieces. And as I said, you can download that PDF, and that way you're not having to copy measurements down off of the video. And then we're just going to fold all of the score lines in the same direction. So let me fold the other two pieces and we'll be on to the assembling. Of course, I have to miter each of the tabs. Now you may want to take your bone folder and go back and give each one of these score lines a burnish so that they're not wanting to pull so hard on this piece. So before I assemble any of these cubes, I'm going to add in one of the pieces of designer paper that goes on the inside, and I'm doing that just because it's easier to do it now than it will be once things are closed up. So we're facing these, you've got the short tab at the top, and then you're going 1, 2, and on this third one, measurements for the designer paper are also in that downloadable PDF. I'm using the In Good Taste designer paper, which is full of wonderful textures. We've got some tiles and paint and fabric and the wood grains. Okay, so next we're going to add the designer paper elements to the inside of our box, and let's just put those here. And I am checking to make sure that I'm matching my patterns a little bit. So when you cut, you may want to stack yours up so that the pieces, as you insert them, match either side, side to side or top to bottom. So I'm going to try out my new Stampin' Seal Plus and see how we do with it. So I'm going to add it to my tab here. Oops. There we go. And this comes out, let me show you. Let's see if you can see the, instead of a solid strip, it's kind of little sections, which is great because then it tears away more easily. And by that I don't mean your project will open up more easily. I mean it tears away from the dispenser more easily. So then we need to line up our sections here and give that a burnish to make sure it's had a chance to take hold. And I'm going to do it again here. And then add my Stampin' Seal here. And I want to just come up to that edge, not overlap it, where I've got my score line, and I'm going to give that a little burnish. Always helps tapes to take hold. And last one here. Okay. All right, and before we go any further, I'm going to insert the designer papers in the bottom of each of these cubes. Now I've got my tab here that we just adhered down on the bottom, so we're going to hide that with some designer paper. Always love when I can hide the tab. So just coming in here and checking to see that I've got it centered side to side and top to bottom. And do the same thing here, checking my pattern. Not that I think anybody's going to look at the card that closely. And my tabs on the bottom. Okay. And do that. And now we're ready to add these cubes to our card. And again, I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal. Yeah. Okay, so on this back portion, just this piece, I'm going to add lots of Stampin' Seal. Oops, got to roll it with my finger. Not uncommon with a tape roller. And you'll notice I've put lots on because, of course, this is the part of the card that's going to get the most pulling on it. So I've made sure that my designer paper pieces are here at the top. And I'm going to fold this so that I come right down at the bottom edge. And I'm making sure that I do not cross the score line in the center. And then let's give this a rub. Okay. And then same thing with this one. So we're going to add lots of Stampin' Seal. Okay, and again, we're going to press this flat. I'm watching that center score line coming down here at the bottom. and making sure I'm lined up before I give it a press. Okay, so there's our basic mechanism ready to go. And now we need to do a little more decorating. So I've got 2 more pieces of the In Good Taste designer paper. And these I'm matching up side to side. This wood grain. Okay, and now let's press this down and add these 2 pieces. Let's see, this one can go over here. And I'm just going to turn this one. I recommend stacking your patterned paper in groups before you start. If you're using something that has different design, so that you get a better pattern match. If you're using something that's got an all-over pattern, that won't really matter. Okay. And these little stacked stone pieces. Okay. And then, let's see, I'm going to set that aside here, and we're going to insert our pop-up mechanism. And I'm cut out the happy birthday with a stitched rectangle die. And I'm just going to place this on here so that this is kind of hard to see. I'm coming midway here, and here's my score line, and I'm lining this point up, the closed edge, right up next to the score line. And let me press that down so that we're not moving around. Sorry, that's kind of hidden in there. I'm going to give you a view of what's happening in there. And then we'll do the same thing on this other side. Let's close this one and open this one up. And before I put it down, then I'm going to look and see if I'm reasonably lined up with the other one. I'm using the multi-purpose glue because it gives me some wiggle room to move this. And since I'm doing this basically blind, that little bit of wiggle room is quite a help. So now let's fold this down. I'm going to reach in here and put multi-purpose glue on the top of each of those tabs that you can't see. And then I'm going to add my happy birthday over top of that. Okay. Oops. This is the only really fiddly part of this whole card, is making sure that I've got this, oops, didn't hold it long enough, this in here, and that I am holding it long enough for it to adhere. Let me take a look and make sure it's straight. Again, that multi-purpose glue is fabulous for that. Okay, I think my tabs are too long because this isn't going to pop up. So I'm just going to trim them. And let's push this back down. And of course the right size will be reflected in your tutorial. Okay, so this just does a little bit of pop-up here in the center. I don't know if you can see that here. Okay, so let's finish embellishing. Sweep these pieces aside and get a couple of things out of the way so that we have some room. So we have all of our stamped and colored pieces that we started with at the beginning. And I'm going to add these two little leaves right behind the sentiment. So let's put some glue on the bottom of them and tuck them right in behind the sentiment here. Oops. Again, this is awfully fiddly for you to see. You'll be able to see the end result, but it's hard to show it to you as I'm working on it. Okay, so you can see where the leaves are. And then I need some dimensionals. And we're going to add our flowers. So let's add dimensional here. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to glue this one down. And now we're going to add a second dimensional behind this one. Okay, and same thing over on this other side. We're going to put the front dimensional down, and then we've got adhesive on the back of this one. And now we'll add that second dimensional behind that first flower. By waiting, it helps us to slide the second one in and know that we've got everything where we want it to be. And then I'm going to just add one more up here at the top. And this one I'm going to adhere directly to the card. Okay, so kind of hard to see, but here's our pop-up triple cube card, and you can download that PDF over on my blog. There will be a link in the description below. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel before you go. Click the bell if you would like to be notified as I upload future videos, and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.